The dusk at Dustwater Creek had a way of settling slow, like the sky itself was holding its breath. That evening the cicadas were loud, the wind low, and the cottonwoods along the creek bed whispered as if they already knew what was coming. Elena Ramirez stood on the porch with a dish towel still twisted in her hands. She had been watching the ridge since morning, staring at the empty horizon the same way she had for 6 long years, out of habit, not hope. Hope had died with Cole, or so everyone told her. The army telegram said he fell at the Little Bighorn. A coffin draped in a flag followed months later. She buried that box herself, but the man who stepped onto the ridge that night walked with the same uneven gait as the husband she once knew, the same coiled stillness, like a rattlesnake deciding whether to strike or sleep. The sun glinted off a black Stetson she'd never seen before, and a Colt worn so thin it looked part of his hand. He paused there, outlined in red gold light as if the desert fire itself had spit him out. Elena did not breathe. The world around her turned to cotton. Then the children burst from behind her. Mateo, the oldest. Isabel with her braids. Little Daniel, who barely remembered a father. And Maria, the baby who had never known one at all. They ran across the yard yelling, "Pa!" even though Elena had warned them 100 times never to call ghosts back with their voices. The man on the ridge did not smile, but something in him broke loose when the children reached him, their arms wrapping around a body that felt solid, too solid for a dead man. He knelt, lifting Maria with a gentleness that didn't match the blood drying on his cuff. And when he finally looked at Elena, his eyes were exactly as she remembered, stormy gray, full of things he'd never say until they swallowed him whole. She did not move toward him. She did not speak. She only saw the scar beneath his collar, the rope burn, raw and pink, like someone had already tried to send him back to the grave he'd crawled out of. When twilight settled, Cole came to the porch alone. The children had gone inside, full of questions she refused to answer. Elena waited with her hands clenched so tightly her nails bit her palms. Cole stood 3 steps below her, as if he knew he had no right to climb higher. "You're supposed to be dead," she finally said. "I was," he answered, voice low. As if truth might spook in the dark, he said nothing more. She said nothing more. The distance between them felt wider than the desert. Later, when he bathed in the horse trough behind the barn, she watched from a distance. His chest was crisscrossed with scars, old and new blade marks, bullet lines, burns that could only come from iron, and on his left side, a brand in the shape of a small cross, Comancaro, mark of ownership or debt. Either one meant death followed close. Cole didn't explain it, not that night. But trouble arrived before dawn to explain for him. The first sign was smoke on the far ridge, thin, controlled, a signal. Then came the riders, dark silhouettes forming against the sky. Pinkertons. By the coats, Apache scouts by the hair and paint, and at the center, a Comancaro captain with a silver spur on his boot and a shotgun across his saddle. Elena had heard rumors of him, a man named Rafael Cordero who carved debts into men and collected them in blood. Cole saw them from the barn door. His jaw tightened. He reached for his Colt, although he must have known bullets wouldn't fix any of this. "Elena," he said, "take the kids and go to your sister's ranch. Now." "I'm not running," she replied. "You don't understand what's coming, I understand more than you think." Her voice shook but held. "You died once already. I won't live through burying you again." He closed his eyes for a long moment, like he was choosing which lie to tell. But when he spoke, it wasn't a lie. "They think I stole gold. 40,000 in Confederate bullion. Did you?" she asked. His silence was answer enough. "But not the whole answer, and the regiment," she whispered. "They say you killed your own." "No," his voice cracked, "but I didn't save him either." The riders approached slow, like a storm deciding where to break. The Comancaro captain raised one hand, and the men fanned out in a half-circle around the ranch. Elena counted 20 rifles. "Maybe more." Cordero called out in Spanish, voice smooth as polished bone. "Ramirez woman, step aside. Your husband owes a debt." Asterisk, he's not my husband, Aiyana lied. The man I married died 6 years ago. Cole flinched like she'd struck him with a branding iron. Cordero smiled. Then this will be simple. Asterisk, the Pinkertons dismounted. One carried a hangman's rope already tied into a noose. Another held a warrant. Apache scouts circled outward, scanning for escape paths. Asterisk, Aiyana stepped off the porch, shotgun in hand. This is my land, my home. Nobody dies on it unless I say so. Asterisk, Cordero raised an eyebrow. You would defend. A man who wears another woman's brand, who carries the blood of soldiers on his hands, who steals gold meant for nations. Asterisk, Cole stepped forward. Aiyana, don't. Asterisk, but she kept her shotgun leveled. Tell me the truth, she said, eyes never leaving Cordero. All of it. Right now. The desert wind fell silent. Cole hesitated, then spoke the words he'd buried with the coffin they sent her. Asterisk, the 7th Chivalry wasn't wiped out by Sioux that night. Not all of them. Some were ambushed by men in gray coats, Comancheros, bounty raiders. They hit us for the gold we were escorting east. I was the only one who lived long enough to crawl away. Asterisk, Aiyana swallowed hard, and the gold, asterisk, buried. Hidden where no one will ever find it. Because that gold was cursed the second the war ended. Every man who touched it died screaming. Asterisk, Cordero laughed softly. Then dig up the curse, Cole, or I'll burn this valley to dust. Asterisk, the children cried from inside the house. Maria shouted for Aiyana, the fear in their voices cut sharper than any blade. Asterisk, Aiyana lowered her shotgun. Not in surrender, but in decision. Asterisk, if you want him, she told Cordero, you come through me. But you won't touch my children. And you won't touch this ranch. Cordero signaled the Pinkertons forward before they reached the steps. A rifle cracked from the hayloft. Mateo, shaking but determined, fired the gun Cole abandoned years ago. The bullet missed, but it startled the horses into rearing. Chaos erupted. Gunfire lit the night like wildfire sparks. Aiyana dragged Maria outside toward the cellar. Cole threw himself into the open, firing once, twice, dropping 2 Pinkertons before a bullet grazed his shoulder. Apache scouts advanced through the sagebrush. The Comanchero captain rode closer, shotgun raised. Asterisk, smoke filled the yard. Horses screamed. Somewhere Isabel shouted. The world became a blur of grit and gunpowder. Asterisk, Aiyana saw the lantern fall from the porch railing. Saw it hit the dry boards. Saw the flame curl upward. Asterisk, by the time the fire reached the roofline, Cole had one knee in the dirt, bleeding, surrounded by 3 rifles. Aiyana ran toward him, but the heat from the burning house forced her back. Asterisk, go, Cole yelled. Get the kids out. Asterisk, she hesitated only a second. Then she ran into the smoke toward her children. Not away. Asterisk, when she emerged with them, coughing, crying, half-blind, the riders were retreating from the flames. Even Cordero pulled back, shielding his face. The house collapsed inward with a roar, and in the orange inferno, Cole was gone, not shot. Not taken, gone. When dawn finally came, the valley lay quiet except for the crackle of ash. No riders, no botas, no sign of Cole except a single footprint. Burned into the soil leading away from the ranch he once called home. Aiyana stood in the ruins with her children huddled close. Maybe he would return. Maybe the desert had claimed him for good. Asterisk, either way. Dustwater Creek would remember the night death came riding and a family burned their past to save their future.